Okay guys, this week we're going to do an install video on a 4-inch lift for a so this should be the same for a 2015 through a 2019 Silverado 2500. I don't really think it matters if it's gas or diesel, but we're going to pretty well do a walkthrough on this. So this is going to be a start to finish on how to do the lift, get it home. So that way, if you all want to do it at home, or if you want to bring it to us to do it, that way you can see how we do it. This truck is getting the Cognito 4-inch kit. It's also getting a full Kryptonite Ultimate kit in the suspension. So everything from tie rods, center link, pitman arm, idler arm, all that's going under this truck. So all that's got to come out anyway. So this will be a good time to do this video. So he's fixing to get started on this after lunch, and then we'll get all the parts laid out and show you how it all looks. Okay guys, so now we've got everything boxed up or unboxed and ready to start this. So let me spin you around and show you kind of what we're going to go through, and then I'm going to let Bailey start tearing the truck apart, and he'll kind of give you a walkthrough as we go through it, and then we're just going to kind of be back and forth through the phone to show you how it all works. So this is where we're going to start. So kit we've got, so this is the Kryptonite or the Cognito kit. We went with the more base model on this one because he was going to go ahead and do the Kryptonite upper control arms to match all the Kryptonite steering stuff. So we'll go through this a little bit at a time. Cognito stuff is going to be, we're going to have your knuckles, U-bolts for the for the rear. Then there's going to be some spacers and stuff for your axle as we pull that out. This will be your axle drop brackets along with this stuff here. And again, as we go through this, we'll show you each individual piece, where it goes and how it goes on. So you don't worry about it. Just make sure you've got all your stuff lined out. So it's a lot easier to go ahead and get it laid out first. Then, as you've seen before, we've got our Kryptonite upper control arms with our new bushings and ball joints, new center link, tie rods. This is our, this is idler, I can't see it on the phone. Idler, pitman arm, or backwards, I'm not sure, I don't remember. This is the idler support and the weld-on bracket for the idler. This truck already had a cheap lift on it from a company that we're not going to name, and it rode like complete garbage because it has no suspension travel. So the shocks that we put on this truck probably a year ago, it helped it a little bit, but not enough. So these shocks are already rated for this lift, so we're going to get to reuse these shocks. And then yeah, so that's what we'll do. So I'm going to have him start showing you how we're going to tear it apart, and then we'll go from there. So first thing we've got done so far is pull the fender liners out. That takes a T15, pull the wheels off. Those are going to depend on what you got. And then he's going to start separating this. Let me back this up a bit. There we go. He's going to start separating this knuckle assembly. So tie rods will come off and your upper ball joint will get unbolted. And then you can see where he's hit this right here with a hammer. So you don't want to take this all the way off. Take it where you've got a couple threads left, and then hit it here and here until this is going to pop. It'll separate like that. So then once he's got this done, the next thing he's going to start doing, I believe, is the brake calipers.
Yeah, so after I take ball joints loose, I'll go under the truck, pull the keys out, get the tension off the suspension here.
Have you done that yet?
I have.
Okay, so we need to show how to do that, but go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to start pulling any of your ABS wire, your brake hose, start unbolting the caliper. I pull the whole caliper itself. They're going to be two 21 mil bolts on the back side of this. And then pull your caliper off, hang it, whatever you want to do. Pull your rotor off. Sometimes they'll have a keeper in one of these spots here. If you've done brakes before, it'll be gone. Slide your rotor off. Pop the dust shield off of your CV axle here. They're just like this. Take a little chisel, get in between them, knock them out. And then on the 11 and 19 trucks, these CV axle nuts are going to be a 34. On 1 to 10 trucks, they're going to be a 36. What that goes to in standard, I ain't sure.
Okay, so get under there and show them how to do the keys, and then we'll get a little bit more tore apart, and then show you how it
Alright guys, so this right here is going to be your torsion keys. This right here is what you're going to be seeing. It's a half moon and a bolt. I've already got them pulled out, so let's take this and we'll put it back in real quick. So the way these work is you can see right there, these will factory sit right here in this cross member, and your bolt is going to be up in there and it's going to push up on your key. You'll take this bolt all the way out. With this truck, how I having the lift on this side, I don't have to relieve that torsion key any. But if you do, they make these tools here. They're just a compressor tool. Unthread it. It's got a little notch right there. And the top side of the frame here, there'll be two little holes. That notch will go in that hole, and that bolt will just thread up and engage this hole right here. Pressing your key up, deloading this, and then you can just reach in here and pull it out, and then take your tool back out. Same on each side. You'll just push it up in there, pull these out, and then you're good to go. All right, guys, we've got our cross member pulled out, so it's going to be 4 18 mil bolts each side. It'll come down. Next up, we're going to start pulling our front differential. So we're just going to pull all the wiring out, get it all disconnected, unbolt it, drop it down. I'm pulling these front differentials. On the passenger side here, you'll have two 13/16 nuts. And then over here, driver's side, you'll have one 15 mil bolt here, one 18 mil bolt here, and then you'll have one more 18 mil bolt coming down from the top. So I think in the instructions it says to pull this bracket down with it, but I will leave this bracket in here until after I get the front diff out, just to give me a little bit more clearance to clear this piece of the frame here and the oil pan. So we're going to lower down and continue on. So now that we've got the differential out, we're going to mark our horns here, get these cut down so we can put our new lower cross members in. So for this kit, you're going to do 1.5 inches over from center of your lower control arm hole, and you're going to do 1 inch down from your lower control arm hole. You typically, if you're doing a 6-inch or bigger kit, you don't have to cut this horizontal. We just have to cut it for this 4-inch kit because the control arms aren't as long as the 6 or plus kits. So it just makes room for those. So we'll mark these both sides, cut them down, and then we'll get back with you. So you can take these additional cross member brackets here out. Once they're both 7/8 bolts, at least for this truck was, because they're different aftermarket bolts, just from that lift kit the truck had. I'll put that in quotations. So your bolt size might be a little bit different, but I'll take those out both sides just to make this cut here a little bit easier. Because if you look, this will sit in here just like so. I mean, you can still make that cut with that in there if you don't want to pull it out. I just pull it out because it's easier, makes that cut easier, makes it look nicer. So, like I said, you can pull those out, leave them. It's up to you. Got these now cut off. Got some black paint on there, just rust prevention, keep out bare metal from rusting, anything like that, and just so it doesn't stand out. All right, guys, the next thing you're going to do is just cut off these bump stops buckets. They're welded right here, just like these front ones. What I do, I'll take a Sawzall and I'll just cut. It's not welded almost all the way around like these front ones are. There's just two welds back here in the back. Take a Sawzall and I'll just cut those welds, and you can beat them off with a hammer. You can take your Sawzall and cut flush all the way under it, in between the frame and here. And then just take a grinder, clean it up, make it smooth, and then just hit it with a little paint, give it some paint. That way it's not going to rust up under these next brackets we put on. The next thing you're going to do, take a 25/64 drill bit, and right here in the center of where your old bushing used to be, there's going to be a hole. You're just going to drill that hole out with your drill bit. It's not going to take very much material out. You're just going to make it a little bit larger because we're going to put a pull rivet in there. Whenever you're going to put one of those pull rivets in here, your kit's going to come with one of these, basically a threadless nut. It's a 19 mil. You're going to take provided screws, 11 and a 19. You're going to put that on there, put one of your rivets, thread it all the way down against that collar, put it up in there, and then hold your 19 here, and with a 11, just tighten that up, and it's going to suck that rivet down. So we've got our brackets put on our differential now. In the instructions, it'll show you kind of which way this goes, but I'm going to simplify it up a little more. This is your driver's side bracket. It's the 1534. Every bolt on this side is going to be a 19 millimeter or 3/4, and they'll torque to 50 foot-pounds. And then passenger side here, your bracket will only go one way. You'll want the opening inside towards the center of the truck. Your two different sets of holes here are two different sizes, because these bolts here are a little bit larger than your factory bolts that are still in the truck. So you ain't got to worry about getting your bracket backwards, nothing like that. So these will torque to 60 foot-pounds once we get everything up in the truck and situated where it needs to go. So this side's a little loose, just so we've got some movement to get everything lined up like it needs to be. So we'll get this in the truck. We got our front diff back in. Like I said, all these bolts right here in this bracket on the driver's side are 19 millimeters. They torque to 50 foot-pounds. Over here on the passenger side, these brackets here, these both torque to 60 foot-pounds. And then whenever you get done with that, remember to plug your actuator back in. Some of your wiring may or may not reach anymore because of where it's dropped. Same with your vent hose. If you just give it a little bit of a pull, it'll stretch some of that hose back out, pull it through the zip ties, and you can put it back on your vent. So yeah, that's got our front diff back in. From now, we're going to start putting cross members back in, lower control arms, basically put it back together. So we got new front cross member in. You're going to use your factory bolts. Just go forward, from the back forward with these. The nut here is going to be 15/16. I want to say the head of the bolt was 13/16. Could be wrong, but these torque to 90 foot-pounds. Now you're going to loosely put your new lower cross member in. Bolts, same as front, go from back forward. If you look at the cross member, it's going to have a notch on one side, and that's going to be for your front differential there. So on these brackets here, you're going to take your bolts. You're going to start your hole right here, get it tight. I'm going to punch. So whenever you get your brackets put on, you're going to put your cross member in, leave your nuts off. Once you get it in place, you'll grab these brackets out of your box. Each side is specific, so your bolt holes line up. Slide your bolt back out, slide this bracket in. It's got a sleeve in here, that way you don't crush this whole pocket whenever you torque this new cross member. You're going to loosely bolt your new bolt in here. It's going to line your holes up here. You're going to drill them, put 2 more rivets in each side in those holes. So you're going to mark your hole, drill it, drop your bracket, put your rivet in, put your bracket back up, and then bolt it all together. They didn't send us enough rivets, so we're going to get some ordered for these 2 holes. This here is going to be the retaining plate for your skid plate. You're going to take these little retainers. They just slide right on, line your holes up. Then you're going to take it, put it in your rear cross member, and that's going to be what your skid plate bolts do. So we'll get that put in, show y'all what it looks like. For the skid plate, you're going to put that bar that you put those little tabs in. They're going to go through this hole in your front cross member. You may be able to squeeze it in between here, but depending on the size lift you went with. But I put them right through here, slide it through, and then you've got 3 9/16 bolts, lock washer, and then back here you've got 6 9/16 bolts and nuts all across the back of your cross member here. So we're going to tighten those up, and then we're going to move on to the next step. All right, guys, all those bolts for your skid plate are going to torque to 19 foot-pounds. Your low control arm on the ground, you're going to slide your torsion bar out of your factory hole. Whenever you get that out, you're going to take this mandrel. It's going to slide in place of where your factory torsion bar was. You're going to take your new bracket, put it on, bolt it in. Once you got it bolted in, you're going to take it, and it's got a hole right here in this bracket. You're going to use that as a guide to drill a 1/2 inch hole through your lower control arm and put a bolt for this new bracket to help hold it in place. Once you get that done, you're going to put your bolt in, torque it to 60 foot-pounds, and put your bump stop on. Then you're ready to put your torsion bar back in your new bracket here, slide your lower control arm back in the truck. So we're going to get these installed and show y'all what it looks like. Now that we got lower control arms in here, your bolts for these, short bolts on the front, long bolts in the back. These bolts are going to go the opposite of factory bolts. They're going to go front of the truck back. With those in, these are going to torque to 90 foot-pounds, but we are going to leave them loose for now. We will come back and tighten these later. All right, we've got our Kryptonite upper control arms in. If you're using your factory upper control arms, you just put them in same way you took them out. You actually don't even have to take them out if you're not changing your upper control arms. So now that we've got that in, we are going to break down our old spindle here. These are going to be 4 21 mil bolts for your wheel bearing. Knock that out, move your dust shield, move your bearing over, and then bolt them up to your new spindle. And then put it on the truck, starting with lower ball joint, and then attach it to your upper ball joint. And whenever you take your old spindles apart, you're going to have an O-ring right here inside your old spindle that seals any kind of water and stuff from around your wheel bearing. So you'll want to take that out and swap it over. You just want to be careful not to damage it. And once you get your wheel bearing out, I just take a little bit of red Scotch-Brite and just kind of go around this surface here and just kind of clean it up, knock any of that dirt and rust and stuff off, just make it a little bit easier going back in. All right, so now that we've got spindle hung, I've got this jack stand here just to help pick the spindle up so I can hook everything up. We are going to tighten and torque your lower ball joint. That's going to be 100 foot-pounds. Your upper ball joint, your lower ball joint is a 15/16 nut. Like I said, 100 foot-pounds. Your upper ball joint, depending on what upper control arms you have, size will vary. You're torquing it to roughly 50 foot-pounds, but it is hard to get a torque wrench in here. So just with a box end wrench, get it good and tight, and then depending on what style nut you have, if you have a lock nut or a castle nut like this one, you're just going to get it to what you think is 50 and then tighten it until your hole for your cotter pin lines up with your castle nut. So now that we've got that, we've also went ahead and put our track bar in. It is easiest to do whenever you can still move all of your control arms. You're going to pick it all the way up, get your bump stop touching the frame here, and then you can just slide your torsion bar all the way through. If you're putting this kit on a 2011 truck and a 2011 only, these holes in your transmission cross member and the frame here are actually smaller than they are on the 2012 and up trucks. So if you're installing this kit on an 11 truck, you've actually got to cut some of this cross member out here. But with this truck being a 16, we do not have to do that. So I just wanted to make you aware of that on those 2011 trucks. All right, so with your axle all the way up, I've not put our new Kryptonite tie rods in yet just because I wanted the room to put my CV axle in. So what I done was I slid it right up here in this open space, started the splines in the hub and slid it forward. Now that it's centered inside of our wheel bearing here, we're going to pick it up and just put our new spacer ring in with new bolts and put a little bit of Loctite on the ends of each bolt. That way you don't have to worry about it coming out. All right, we've got our CV axle now torqued. They are a 17 millimeter bolt torqued to 40 foot-pounds. Axle nut torqued. It is a 34 millimeter, 120 foot-pounds. Torqued both our lower control arm bolts. They are 1/16", 100 foot-pounds. And then we just got left putting our tie rod in and then getting our camber adjustment pretty well close enough to get this guy to an alignment, and then she'll be all wrapped up. All right, we've now got our Kryptonite tie rod ends in. With the center link here, your notched side of your tie rods are going to be your outward side. So you just want to make sure you don't get those backwards. And then whenever you're adjusting tie rods, always want to adjust by the center link. That way you're not getting one rod further out than the other. It'll make it weaker if you have this side out 5 inches and this side out just 1 inch. So you want to have the same amount of threads or fairly close on each side of your tie rod. So we're going to leave our jam nuts loose. They do final torque to 200 foot-pounds. We're going to leave them loose for now, get the truck down on the ground, put tires on some cardboard and get a rough final toe adjustment until this truck goes to alignment. Your nuts here, they're going to be a 19 millimeter and they torque to 46 foot-pounds. All right, so we've got our sway bar end links here for this truck, this kit. So they're going to come with just the bar, polyurethane bushing, and the sleeve here. When you're putting these bushings in these end links, I'll use a little bit of soapy water, just water and Dawn. It will not break down the polyurethane bushings like oil or transmission fluid will. So I'll use a little bit of that, and then there's a couple different ways. I usually just put this in a vise and close the jaws, push the bushing in, and then I will start the sleeve, get it down as far as I can by hand, and then just hold the end link and then smack the bushing or the sleeve there with a hammer and just drive it in the rest of the way. And then that will typically get you seated all the way and will not destroy your bushing or your sleeve or anything like that. So now we've got our adapters here and our control arms. We've got them loose just to get it mocked up where we need to go on the sway bar. So these will simply push down in here. You've got bolt goes through it, and then on this side you'll have a washer, a bushing, sway bar, bushing, washer, ball head, and then you'll just tighten. So whenever you've got your bushings here, you're going to have washer, bushing, sway bar, bushing, washer, ball head. Whenever you tighten these down, you just want to get some squish out of these bushings. If you just keep cranking down on it, these are going to wear out prematurely. They're going to crack and just fall out, and then you're just going to have a bouncy sway bar. So whenever you're tightening these down, you just want a little bit of squish out of those bushings and you're good. There's no need to go any further. All right, guys, so we've got her all finished up. Got our Kryptonite up control arms, Fox shocks, Cognito spindle. This is the whole torsion bar, no drop kit. Everything's buttoned up. Kryptonite tie rods, center link, pitman idler arm, everything. So this is what she looks like. Got everything tight. We're going to throw the wheels on it, sit her on the ground, get a rough mock-up for camber and toe. That way we can get this truck to alignment and this customer can get on his way. All right, so we've got the back axle now. This is going to be quick, dirty how-to, just because truck already had 1-inch blocks in it. That's what this Cognito kit runs. So customer did not want to pull these blocks out and change them. But to do your rear leaf, no matter what size lift, unless you're starting to add leaf springs, stuff like that, it's going to be a little different. But if you're just putting a block in, this is super simple how to do it. You're going to support the axle, whether it be you're lifting the truck or lowering the axle, however you're doing it, lift, ground, either way. You're going to support both sides of the axle, unbolt both of your U-bolts, both sides, unbolt your shocks. If you're doing a 6-inch kit or bigger, you'll have to unbolt your brake line brackets here. And that will come with extension brackets or replacement hoses, just depending on what kit you went with and what size. But you will, after you get everything unbolted, lower the axle or raise the truck, however you're doing it, get enough space, slide your block in, put them back together, put all your U-bolts in, tighten them down, put your shocks in, put your brackets back on, or relocation brackets, or however you all are doing that. But rear of these trucks, super simple. So if you got any questions, leave a comment.